This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time. And that means you. Okay, so we have had some time to learn a few things. We've had some time to reflect on what it's going to take to get to the next level financially. But what I want to do today is I just want to provide you with a checklist. This is going to be basically a blueprint for everything that we're going to discuss over the next month, week, year, decade, or whatever. The items on this checklist are the things that you need to get to the next level financially. You will have to revisit several pieces or several items on the checklist multiple times. You will need to ignite. You will need to renew your subscription, if you will. Every time you think about what it takes to get your money to the next level, you need to think about it as a subscription. The Bible says that we are to renew our minds. And I say renew our minds in the same vein that I say renew a subscription. At the end of the year, your subscription is over. You have to pay money again in order to subscribe. You may find that there are new benefits. You may find that there are new resources or whatever it may be, but we do have to renew. So this checklist, it's not going to be something that you can accomplish today. Okay, there are going to be pieces of the checklist that you may get in place before the other pieces. So there really is no particular order to this checklist. However, if you are completely starting over, if you are at the bottom, trying to look up, trying to get up, then I would suggest that you take these things in the order that I am giving them to you. But let me repeat once again, this checklist, these items can happen in any order as long as you have one of the foundational pieces of the checklist in place. So we are talking about the checklist for your life, the checklist for your money, the checklist for your whole entire next level. And it starts with this. You've heard me say it before, but I have to repeat it again. And I'm going to share it with you in a different way. Number one, you have to spend less money. If you spend more money than you make, you will not win. If you do not plan to spend less money than you make, you will not win. If you spend as much money as you make, you cannot win the money game. So if you bring in $3,000 a month and you spend $5,000, you are living from check to Monday or even possibly from check to 2 o'clock. Okay. I remember when I first wrote the book, I talked about living check to Monday and everybody thought it was so clever. And then one of my callers, called in and said, Lynn, what about check to 2 o'clock? I said, now, wait a minute. I didn't even ask you to say that because I was trying to keep that on the down low. Check to 2 o'clock is when you get paid. In the morning, when you wake up, your check is there, but by 2 o'clock, it is gone. And then one of my callers said, well, what about check to yesterday? Yes, I have lived that too. That means before you get paid, you were broke. And after you get paid, you were still broke because your bank allows you to have NSFs. Yes, I've been there and I've done that too. I've been able to overdraw my account so much so that by the time I got a check, it still did not bring me out of the negative. So the lesson here, number one, spend less money. And it has to be a plan. It has to be something that you think about. You can't just wake up on payday on the 1st, the 15th, every other Friday, every other Wednesday, every other Monday, whenever you get paid. You can't just wake up and think, I'm going to do something different with my paycheck today. No, you actually have to plan it. You have to look out for people. You have to look out for those folks who are going to induce you to spend money you don't have, like your children. Your children. I remember speaking at an event once, and a lady got up and she was so, she was just so kind and nice. And she was really trying to figure out what to do about her money. And the very first thing she said, well, Lynn, I'm trying to get it together. I know what to do, but I just can't stick to it. And then she started talking about her kids. I said, lady, I said, sister, I said, let's hold on for a minute. I said, first of all, kids are evil, okay? And everybody in the room laughed because they knew what I was talking about. Kids want what they want. You cannot be financially free trying to please your children. You cannot be financially free trying to acquiesce to every whim that they have. You will not be financially free if you don't teach your children the importance of financial freedom. One of the best lessons that I have gotten on this path has come from my sister, my soror. She is the legend. When I started working with her, I started running a major initiative for my sorority. And I called her the legend, and I was the youngin because she had paved the way. And so I was going to come in and do the work. Well, she and her husband are financially free. They've raised two wonderful children, a boy and a girl who are now a man and a woman. And she told her children this. It was very simple. You are going to college for free. We're not paying for that. So her oldest son, her son, went to an HBCU, and then he went on to Stanford to get his medical degree in immunology or something like that. Her daughter also went to an HBCU, and then she went on to Emory University to get her graduate degree. So the point is, even though she had the money to spend, she chose not to spend it. Instead, she had a plan, and it included the things that her children were going to have to adhere to in order to be a part of this financially free family. So you must spend less money, and you must plan on it. In this, you must track your spending. So I am going into a new season. It's called marching orders. I do it every single year. You can do it any time of the year, but of course I'm going to commence on March. But during this time, we are marching towards everything we want, we believe. I'll tell you what it really means spiritually and numerologically and all of those things. But we are getting to the next level, and we are not going to quit. So you got to track your spending. I'm talking every single dime that you spend. I want you to write it, and I want you to look at it, because the harvest is here. The time is now.
Let's talk about real estate, real estate, real estate.
Hi, I'm financial expert Lynn Richardson. You've seen me on Good Morning America, The Breakfast Club, and WVON. I'm so excited about sharing with you the Home Buyers Club. It's time for you to get the home of your dreams. No credit, no problem. Low credit, no problem. No down payment, no problem. I am excited about you getting a piece of the American dream. Join the Home Buyers Club today.
Okay, so number one on the checklist, I'm calling this the checklist for life, but it really is the stair steps to wealth. Okay, these are the stair steps to wealth. You can take one at a time, or you can take a few at a time. It's all up to you. Sometimes if you are, having a slower day, you just take one step at a time. If you are in a hurry or you're just feeling mighty, then you might take 2 or even 3 steps at a time. All right, so you can take these stair steps. Remember that they are in no particular order. However, if you are starting all over and you are saying to yourself, I want a revolution in my finances, I need a revelation to get to the revolution in my finances, then this is the order, or these are the items that I recommend that you put in place first. So number one, spend less money. You absolutely must do that. Money is not emotional. We are. Money is exact. It's factual. It's scientific. It's actually very reliable, because money tells you this is what I am. I will be no more and I will be no less. What you do with me is up to you. Okay, so that's what money says. So remember, money is an exact science. It's not like people who are fickle. It's not like the weather. You don't know if it's going to rain, snow. Let me tell you, I'm from Chicago, and honey, I remember one year it snowed in May. Prince had a song, Sometimes It Snows in April. Well, guess what? It snowed in May. For the junior prom or the senior prom, I don't remember. It was one of those things, but you never know what's going to happen there. But math is factual. If you have $200, it's going to be $200 when you start. And hopefully when you finish, you will have done something with the $200 that gives you the ability to operate in power, whether it's 200, 2,000, 20,000, or $200,000. It is what it is. Spend less of it if you want to be financially free. If you can master that, you can master anything. You know, one of the things of that I see, or one of the characteristics of millionaires is we can spend and buy whatever we want, but we typically don't. Now, I know that there are stories of celebrities and entertainers who go out and they buy 16 cars, 3, 4, 5 houses. I am not talking about that. I know that there are people who are operating in a space where they want to show what they have, and they believe that buying these things is going to give them peace and solace. But I've never met anyone, and I know lots of people who are wealthy. I've never met anyone who gets peace and solace from having multiple material things. I've never met anyone who gets peace and solace when they have material illness. My good friend Russell Simmons says material illness is what you have when a material thing's presence gives you pleasure and its absence gives you pain. Okay, so the material thing, you like it, it gives you pleasure, but if its absence gives you pain, then there's something wrong with that. It was like when I gave up my Lexus in bankruptcy. I loved the Lexus, but when I let it go, I didn't feel any less. I didn't feel like I was missing something. I was good with the fact that I had let go of the debt, and I knew that I could go and get another car like that if I wanted to, when I was ready and when it was possible for me. So we're spending less money. We are getting rid of material illness. We are tracking every single thing that we spend. Number 2 on this checklist, you've heard me say this, is to get more money, multiple streams of income. If you are going to spend your time, let me tell you something I did not do when I was trying to get my money straight. I did not chit chat on the phone with random people, and that included family members. If you want to talk to me, I need you to text me so I can see what it is you want. And then I can decide if I'm going to call you back. And when I do call you back, I'm going to give you my undivided attention. But while I am grinding, while I am growing my businesses, while I'm in my creative mode, while I am doing what I have to do, I am not chit chat on the phone with random people. Now, if I'm going to quote unquote waste time, then I'm going to quote unquote waste time trying to figure out another stream of income. What has God given me? What do I do well? What are my gifts, my talents, and so on and so forth? It's all the things that I teach in the Entrepreneurs Academy and also in my class, How to Start a Home-Based Business in New Wealth University. So if I'm going to just sit around doodling, I'm going to doodle on some more income, okay? And not because I'm money hungry. Let me explain this, everybody. This is not about being money hungry. This is about doing what you have to do to sustain, first of all, a way of life, to build wealth, and to be able to pass that wealth on to generations. Now, the story that we were told when we grew up, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. Y'all know Grandma B told me to wear clean underwear and all that other kind of stuff. You know, that's in there if a big mama is telling you what to do. But that story, that scenario did not work out for most people. There are many people who went to school and cannot get a good job, cannot get a job that supplies enough income for them to pay their bills, their rent, light, gas, telephone bill, utilities, car note, send their children to daycare or after school programs. There are simply too many people who are walking around who have done that and still don't have it. And then for those of us who got an education beyond high school, again, there is a system that has been put in place wherein young people are going to school, getting into debt, and they're leaving college with a mortgage but no house. They're leaving college with a big mortgage and sometimes a mansion-sized mortgage and no house. Because when you owe $150,000 in student loans, that's a mortgage. When you owe $300,000, when you owe all this money in student loans, that is a house. Okay, so we've got people going to school and still graduating and not earning enough income to sustain themselves. So go to school, get a good education, get a good job, But what I'm saying to you is add on to that. It's been passed down to us. Create more jobs. It is your job to find other ways to create other jobs for other people, which will supply an income stream to you and services and or goods to them. So everybody needs a home-based business. Everybody needs multiple streams of income. If you are a doctor, then you need a class you can teach. You need a book that you can write. You need a seminar that you can sell. You need a workshop that you can conduct. You need a annual event where you can share your knowledge with others. If you are a teacher, you can be a tutor. You can provide other services. If you work in human resources, you can help people with their resumes. You can help them get interviews. Multiple streams of income is the name of the game. Okay. And I'm going to talk to you about the 4 kinds of income. Now, the one kind of income that many of us have, but you don't want to stay stuck in, you don't want to stay in the income area where you exchange time for money. That's when you go work at a job for 8 hours or however long you work, and only if you work those hours do you get paid. Now, do we all need jobs? Yes. Am I telling you to quit your job? No. Do not quit your job, okay? All I'm saying is if that's your only job, then you've still got some work to do, okay? So the harvest is here. The time is now. This is the Millionaires Roundtable, and we are embarking on this Stair Steps to Wealth journey. And guess what? We can do it.
Give yourself the gift of wealth with no limits. Lynn Richardson and New Wealth University is giving 50% off on the Platinum Wealth Ambassador Program. The Platinum Wealth Ambassador Program will give you 2 full years of unlimited access to all of Lynn's online classes, books, boot camps, master classes, and webinars. So, give yourself the gift of wealth with no limits with 50% off on the Platinum Wealth Ambassador Program, available on lynnrichardson.com.
Okay, so we're talking about the Stair Steps to Wealth, and this is the checklist that I want you to utilize as you are trying to put in all of the pieces of your financial dream, okay? So I have a class called the Financial Vision of Perfection, and it is accompanied by its daily coaching. It's online, and it is accompanied by a session that we do every single Sunday. And we are able to not only put together the vision of perfection that we see for our finances, but we're also able to apply the spiritual elements and fix and adjust and heal and do all of those wonderful things. But I said all of that to say, in the financial vision of perfection, it is up to each and every one of us to make sure that in this portion, Get More Money, that we are looking at the different types of income that we should look for. Okay, so in the quadrant, the cash flow quadrant, the income areas are as follows. Number 1, you've got employee income. This is, again, income that you earn in exchange for time. You go to a job, they pay you money, and it's, pretty much a wrap there. The issue with that is if the company decides to replace you with a machine or a program, then you may not be able to earn income from that job indefinitely. If that job goes under, if they change priorities, if they decide to hire someone younger than you, smarter than you, with more experience than you, or whatever it is. So yes, we all want jobs. I am an advocate for that. I love employing people. More importantly, I love helping people grow. So when you work for me, you're going to learn a whole lot of stuff you didn't know before you worked for me. You're going to learn about excellence. You're going to learn about systems. You're going to learn about financial management. You're going to learn critical thinking skills. You're going to learn leadership skills. And then you're going to also be a master multitasker. In most cases, I'm going to teach you one thing. You're going to learn how to do that well. And then I'm going to add more responsibilities. And I also love to reward the people who work for me. So I love employees. Each and every one of us has probably been an employee at some time or the other. And who knows, I may decide to become somebody's employee someday. But that's the first area of income. This next area of income is when you are self-employed. Everybody needs a home-based business. Again, if you do hair, if you do nails, if you're a consultant, if you teach, if you, whatever it is, that's great. But when you are self-employed, now you own a job. You own a job. The company doesn't run without you. The company doesn't run if you go on vacation. The company doesn't run if you do not show up. I remember early in my financial services career, I had won a trip because I was one of the top producers in the company. I won a trip to Puerto Rico, but the only problem with going to Puerto Rico was if I left the office, no work would get done. And so I remember literally crying, blood, sweat, and tears, it felt like, doing everything in my power to take what was in my brain and put it into a system so that my employees could run it without me. You see, I had developed a very good reputation for getting people approved for mortgages. People would go to other mortgage professionals and they'd get denied. I had one lady who was denied 5 times. I had another person who was denied because of a foreclosure. I had another person, she's a good friend today, and she tells this story. She was selling a home, and the people who were buying her home had been denied a mortgage. So she decided to rent the home to them instead. Well, they found me, and I got them approved for the mortgage in like a week. She wasn't even ready to move yet. So it was because of my critical thinking skills, and I literally studied the underwriting guide. So I found a way to make my clients' financial file fit the rules. So if I help you follow the rules, you can get a mortgage. Well, how was I going to teach that? I literally had to go step by step by step by step and teach my junior loan officers exactly how I thought. What do I think first? What do I think second? What do I think third? Now, at this point, I was able to leave my self-employed situation, and I was moving into this next area of income. It's the B. It's when you are a business owner. So when you're self-employed, you have a home-based business, you're the only one who can do the job. When you become a business owner, you own a system. You can franchise. You can teach other people. The job can continue to flow without your involvement, and income can still come in. So again, we're talking about ways to get more money, and these are the 4 kinds of income you want. You want employee income. If you have a job, that's a great idea because you get benefits. You get things that you probably otherwise would not get. Now, I am not anybody's employee, but I'm not against it totally, okay? And for those who need to be an employee, who need the structure, that's great. Some of us are entrepreneurs and we prefer to employ others, and that's fine too. But let me tell you something. If somebody wants to hire me, call me, because I might just take the job. I might be okay with that, okay? The next area is self-employed. That's when you own the job, okay? You might be making a lot of money, but if you stop working, no money comes in. That's great, but you want to advance to a business. So in my advanced home-based business boot camp, I teach people how to set up a self-employed business that will eventually transform into a business owner situation where you now own a system, you employ other people, they do the work, and you get paid. This final area of income is investment income. It is passive income. It is money that you make while you sleep, from the systems that you create, from the investments, from your 401k, from your real estate, and many other areas. So the harvest is here. The time is now. We're talking about the stair steps to wealth. And guess what? You got this.
Give yourself the gift of wealth with no limits. Lynn Richardson and New Wealth University is giving 50% off on the Diamond Wealth Ambassador Program. The Diamond Wealth Ambassador Program will give you lifetime access to all of Lynn Richardson's online classes, books, boot camps, masterclasses, and webinars. That's right, lifetime access. So give yourself the gift of wealth with no limits with 50% off on the Diamond Wealth Ambassador Program. Available only on lynnrichardson.com.
So we're talking about the stair steps to wealth here on the Millionaires Roundtable. And number 1 was to spend less money. Number 2 was to get more money. We're still talking about getting more money. And you have money coming in from multiple different areas. You've got employee income, if that's something that you're still doing. You've got self-employment income. Everybody needs a home-based business. I'm going to tell you more about that because you can get your money back, but you also need a home-based business so that you can start to move into the next quadrant, which is being a business owner. I believe the best way to start any business is to start out with a home-based business with low overhead and high profit and high revenue. So let me give you some home-based businesses that started out as home-based businesses that became global companies. Facebook started out as a home-based business in a dorm. Amazon started out as a home-based business. Microsoft started out as a home-based business in Bill Gates' garage. So do not underestimate the power of home-based businesses. As a matter of fact, I specialize in helping people expand their home-based businesses into 7- and 8-figure earning entities. Okay, so a home-based business is something everybody should have. Why? Because there are tax deductions that you never knew about that you can get when you have a home-based business that you cannot get when you are a business owner. All right. So now when you have a corporation or LLC or partnership, now, do they get tax write-offs? Yes, but there are certain tax write-offs that you need to pass over to you as an individual, and they only come through a home-based business. I teach that in my course, How to Start a Home-Based Business. Now, business owners, you own a system, it can become a franchise. McDonald's is one of the most classic cases. They had excellent hamburgers. Then they went on to become franchised, and they were all over. And it wasn't until they started owning real estate that they became profitable, but at least they had the franchises first so that when they bought the real estate, they were able to make money there as well. I'm going to talk about real estate a little bit later. The last area of income is investment income. Again, so from real estate that you own. So now those McDonald's franchises that were earning money from hamburgers and French fries actually started making more money because they were collecting rent on each of the franchises that they owned. So they owned the land, and the franchise owner had to lease the land or had to lease that spot from them. So they began to make more money in real estate than they were with hamburgers, Big Macs, and French fries. So investment income, choosing the right stocks, choosing the right financial instruments, choosing the right mutual funds and ETFs, bonds, choosing the right financial instruments, whether it's an IRA, a Roth IRA, or, a mutual fund. So these are all important things in your investment stream of income. Also, if you are able to create a business that supplies subscriptions or some kind of repeat service, right? So this is money that you're going to make while you're sleeping, all right? Make money while you sleep. That is the name of the game. Make money. Let your money start to work for you. Not to mention interest income and all of the other benefits of compound interest when you put your money in the right in the right instrument, and your $100 becomes $200 or $500 or $1,000 or whatever it is. Okay, so step one is spend less money. Step 2 is get more money. Step 3 is get your money back. Okay, so there are people who are talking about becoming financially free, but if you are not talking about getting your money back, then you only have half of the game. Getting your money back is what happens when you make good, well thought out financial decisions about how you're going to spend your money. Let me give you an example. You cannot write off entertainment as a business expense anymore. However, you can write off mileage or your gasoline. You have to pick one, either the mileage or the expenses. You can write off your gasoline, your car interest, and the maintenance and all of that. Or you can get, I believe, 57 cents per mile. You determine that when you get the car, and then you carry that over from year to year. You have to still track the miles, because if you drove 10,000 miles and 5,000 were for business, then that means 50% of your expenses are now going to be a tax write-off. So you have to track all of your miles. So you cannot write off entertainment. But if I decide to go see Alvin Ailey and I can write off dinner, I'm going to meet my business colleagues at the restaurant across the street from the theater. So when I get in my car and drive, I'm driving to a business dinner. I get to write off that mileage, or I get to track that as a part of my deductible business expenses. I'm going to write off the entire meal because I'm meeting my business partners. And then I can walk across the street to Alvin Ailey. Now, if I just decide to go to Alvin Ailey, I don't get to write that off. I don't get to write off the mileage. I don't get to write off the meal. I decide to do business and to conduct business every single time I get an opportunity to do so. Why? One, because I get my money back. Two, because it's good for business. So I tell people all the time, when you are living your life like a business and you learn how to do that, live your life like a business. Tell the truth. If you're going to hire your kids to work in your home-based business, actually put them to work. Don't just say you're doing it and then you don't do it. First of all, that's a lie. And you cannot build a truthful, wealthy foundation on a lie. At some point, it's going to catch up with you. Actually do the business because it's going to be good for business. It's going to sharpen your skills, and it might just get you into a situation where you land a deal, you get a contract you weren't expecting. I often say, keep grinding, keep moving towards your dreams, because at some point you're going to collide into your destiny. You're going to collide into it. The harvest is here. The time is now. And I'm ready for that collision of opportunity to happen for you.
I'm financial expert Lynn Richardson. You may have seen me on Good Morning America giving financial advice. When you get my freedom package, you get the 21 days to financial freedom and how to start a home-based business. See you in class.
Okay, so we're talking about the stair steps to wealth. I have a whole lot of these to get through, so we might have to continue this in another segment. However, I'm going to do the best I can, but I want to be as thorough as I possibly can. Number one, spend less money. Number two, get more money. Number three, get your money back. And number four, let's deal with number three, get your money back. Get your money back. Okay? Don't overlook this. Do not say this is hard work. Being broke is hard work. Okay? You could run a Fortune 500 company with the amount of energy that it takes to rob Peter and pay Paul. So do the work, because you're either going to spend your life working for the things that you want or working to fight off the things you don't. One or two things. You're either going to work for the things you want or you're going to work to fight off the stuff you don't want. Let me take your weight, for example. This is one area that just really, it gets on all of our nerves, right? So I'm either working to stay a size 6 or I'm working to fight off the extra pounds that a size 8 is now, requiring that I comply with. And I refuse to buy bigger clothes because I'm not spending any more money. I'm trying to get my money back. So since I'm not spending any money, I got to wear these size 6s that I have, which means I have to eat less or eat more of the right things. So I'm either going to spend my time working on staying the size I want to be or working to fight off the pounds I don't want. It's the same thing with your money. You're either going to work on getting more money and spending less money, getting more money and getting your money back, or you're going to work to fight off the fact that you don't have any. Okay? You're going to be up at night. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have stress. And then even if you just decide to not deal with it. And I did that the first time I filed bankruptcy. I wasn't opening any mail. I wasn't paying attention to bills. But guess what? One day I had to face it. And I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. It was a room full of mail. I mean, it was just crazy. So at some point, we've got to deal with it. Okay? So get your money back. All right? There are hundreds of tax deductions that will allow you to keep some extra money in your pocket, but more importantly, pay less taxes during tax season or get more money back when it's time for you to file your taxes, literally. Number 4, plan for retirement. Now, you can either take some of your money and put it into your 401k, especially if your company is matching. If your company is matching, then you want to put that money in that 401k, okay? If your company is matching those dollars, that is an instant raise. It is an instant come up. It is an instant way to guarantee that you've got some additional money that you did not have to work for. If you don't have a 401k, start your own. In my class, How to Invest in the Stock Market, I teach you how to pick the right mutual funds. How do you pick the right mutual funds for your goals and your risk tolerance profile? How do you pick the right mutual funds for your financial DNA? All right. So this is a very important step because $100,000 can become $1 million with the right investments. The harvest is here. The time is now.
Hi, I'm financial expert Lynn Richardson. You may have seen me on Good Morning America, The Steve Harvey Show, or Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. Guess what? Did you know you can get your money back if you hire your kids? You can get your money back if you go out to eat. You can get your money back if you go on a vacation. Well, guess what? In my book, Get Your Money Back, Tax Deductions You Never Know About, I'm going to teach you how you can get your money back with your home-based business legally, ethically, and all with the permission of the IRS. Just go to asklynn.org.
Okay, so we're on the Millionaires Roundtable, and we are talking about the stair steps to wealth. 1, spend less money. 2, get more money. 3, get your money back. 4, make your money grow. Prepare for retirement. Save for a rainy day, and then some. That's this 4th area. Make your money grow. Okay, you cannot make your money grow in the under your mattress. Your money will not grow if you simply put it in a bank account. You're going to have to get strategic about this, and you're going to have to learn the process and then get educated and continue to inspect what you expect. Okay. So when the stock market crashed at the beginning of the pandemic, lots of people panicked. The stock market is going to go up. It's going to come down. It's going to go back up. Lots of people took all their money, which meant out of the stock market, which meant it was a permanent loss. But for those who kept their money in, and more importantly, for those who actually followed the strategy to buy the dip, meaning when the stock price goes down, go buy more of it, they were able to make lots of money. I had an 82% return on my money from 2020 to 2021. No, from 2020, I had 122% return. In 2021, I had an 82% return on my money. So it's important to make your money grow. Now, let me tell you what this means. One of the things that I want you to do is make sure that you start your 401k, as I said, or your mutual fund, start your own. If you are self-employed, you could potentially put up to $64,000 a year in your your solo 401k or your retirement account if you are self-employed. All right. The numbers differ if you are employed, but I'm talking right now about self-employed people. Now, why would I want to put my money there? 1, because it's going to grow. 2, if I put it in my solo 401k as opposed to an IRA, then I can borrow against it if I need it. I can borrow against it in the case of an emergency. I can borrow against it if I want to buy a home. I can borrow against this money and then pay myself back and keep earning interest. Okay. So if you take that $64,500 in 10 years, you put it under a mattress, it's only going to be worth $645,000. But if you put it in the right investment, earning 10%, it's going to earn $834,000. You'll have $834,000. If you, after 10 years, after 20 years, you'll have $2.2 million. And after 30 years, you'll have $4.4 million. If you put it under the mattress, in 10 years, you'll have $64,000. In 20 years, you'll have $1.2 million, as opposed to $2.2 million. And in 30 years, you'll have $1.9 million, as opposed to $4.4 million. That's just at 5%. That's very, very safe, modest, conservative investing. If you know how to choose the right investments that outperform the S&P 500, and let's say over time you're earning 10%. If you put in $64,500 a year, in 10 years, you'll have $1 million, $1.1 million. In 20 years, you'll have $4 million. That's just from picking the right items, okay? And in 30 years, you'll have $12 million. So this is not an area we can overlook. I told you money will work harder for you than you can ever work for it. So the harvest is here. The time is now. It is your season to collide into your next opportunity. Let's do this.
Give yourself the gift of wealth with no limits. Lynn Richardson and New Wealth University is giving 50% off on the Platinum Wealth Ambassador Program. The Platinum Wealth Ambassador Program will give you 2 full years of unlimited access to all of Lynn's online classes, books, boot camps, master classes, and webinars. So, give yourself the gift of wealth with no limits with 50% off on the Platinum Wealth Ambassador Program, available on lynnrichardson.com.
Okay, so what's the word of the day? The word of the day is Romans 12:2, and it says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may know what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God." The truth is, if you want your money to operate and operate in the fashion that you see for yourself and cooperate with you, it's going to require a renewing of your mind. As I said, renewing, think of it like a subscription. At the end of the trial period, or at the end of whatever the period is that you signed up for, it could be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be annually. At the end of that period, it's time to renew. Now, could you just pay for lifetime access? Yes. But sometimes you have to reassess what it is that you're doing. You have to reassess its value, and you have to reassess your strategies. Right now, the real estate market is in a quandary. The demand is high and the supply is low. We have inflation right now and interest rates are rising. So if you wanted to invest in real estate a year ago, it was a good idea, but it may not necessarily be so right now. So be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so you may know what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Do you need to renew your commitment to what you have promised your loved ones? Do you need to renew that commitment? What does that look like for you? What does that mean for you? How does this manifest for you? You have to renew your commitment to your finances, just like you would renew a subscription to a magazine. You have to decide, do I still want to get this information, or do I want to move on to another resource? So it's going to be really important for you to renew. And it's also going to be important for you to write. So we've talked about the 4 steps on the checklist. I'll have to continue in the next episode. So if you are listening to the Millionaires Roundtable, make sure you are telling everybody that you know to listen at noon. You want to listen at noon. And if you do not get to hear me when I broadcast live, then you can go to asklynn.org. And then you can listen there. And you can also go to lynnrichardson.tv to catch old episodes as well. Okay, so you can also do that as well. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to continue moving forward so you can collide into your next level, collide into your dream, collide into your vision. The harvest is here. The time is now. It is your season to win.
Who should you go to for financial advice? Author, TV personality, and celebrity financial coach, Lynn Richardson.
Let's bring in financial expert Lynn Richardson.
My girl, Lynn Richardson.
Here we have Dr. Lynn Richardson. Good morning.
Financial expert Lynn Richardson.
Lynn knows what's up.
We're joined by financial expert Lynn Richardson, author of Get Your Money Back, Tax Deductions You Never Knew About.
Be at peace with the money that you have, because everybody knows money cannot buy happiness.
To learn more about Lynn Richardson's webinars, books, and online courses, please go to lynnrichardson.com.